Yo, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video. I'm Balboa. In this video, I have you guys the top 10 units in All-Star Tower Defense. If you guys do end up enjoying the video, like, subscribe to the channel. My current goal is 10,000 subscribers. As well as let me know down in the comments what you guys personally think are the top 10 or even top 5 units in the game. But yeah, without further ado, let's right into it. Alright, so before we actually start talking about the top 10 units, I do want to say that this is going to be for overall. I will have certain reasons for everything. But yeah, this is just for overall how useful they are. This is not targeted towards Infinite or something like that. If you guys do want that inside a different video, I'd gladly do that. Just let me know down in the comments. But yeah, this is going to be the top 10 overall most useful units. Alright, so yeah, for in the 10th spot, we are actually going to have Guts. So Guts is very good. As most of you guys know, he's been meta for a long time. But the reason why we have him over a lot of the other units like Yamamoto and other people like that is just simply, well, first of all, he's cheaper, which is obviously better. And then at least why he's higher than Yamamoto and other DPSs is because he is full AoE, which obviously does help a lot. And then yeah, as you guys can see right here, he has Rapture damage and a lot of other stuff. Rapture is very good. But yeah, pretty much with buff, max level, his final DPS is going to be like 9 million almost damage per second, which is lower than Yamamoto and other things like that. But once again, he is full AoE, which is going to be better for getting the most amount of damage for pretty much every single mode. As well, as you guys don't know, Yamamoto has way less evolutions. Like, it's pretty much cheap, and then all of a sudden one that costs 15 million. While Guts is kind of a bit different. He kind of has like the same, roughly the same prices, evolutions throughout his whole kit. And he does cost 13 million, which is a little bit expensive, but his damage is well worth it. I don't really recommend using him in shorter game modes. I really only recommend using him in longer game modes like Infinite or things like that. If you guys do want a unit just like this for shorter game modes, then I highly recommend Ryudo with the 6-star. Once again, a very good unit, just slightly worse than Guts. But yeah, it's going to be better for the shorter game modes, but Guts is definitely going to be better for the longer game modes. The next unit for the number 9 spot is going to be Tundra. Now, Tundra is very, very good. He is probably who I recommend to get as your first 7-star. If you're watching this and don't have any 7-stars, this is probably who I personally would recommend it at first, just because he has a lot of things going for him. First of all, off placement, which is placement is only 1,000. Off placement, he's already full AoE, already does sunburn, which is all very good. As well as this, he's very cheap, and I believe has 8 placement as well. So he's just all in all a very good unit. And if you guys actually scroll down here, he does have a very good leader as well. This is why I recommend getting him first, is because his leader is very good. Money units will give you 20% more, and for anyone inside this category, gets 20% more damage. And if you guys actually take a look at this category, a lot of good units are in here. Yamamoto, Ichigo, Rengoku, Guts, there's a lot of good units in here. So that's why he's a very good leader. Even if you're not using those other units, you still get 20% damage for him. And then you also get 20% more money for economy units, which is very good. Alright, for the number 8 spot, we will be talking about Cooler. So Cooler is very good for short game modes. I don't really recommend him for longer game modes like Infinite or anything like that. Unless if you are in squads, I think he's decent if you're running squads, because you can defend early on for the first, like, I think like 50 waves or something. But yeah, he's very good for story. I believe you can complete all of World 1 story just with Cooler on your team, which makes him a very good option. He is very cheap as well. He only costs 31,000 to max out. He's an air type, which makes him so good for story, obviously, because he can automatically attack air and the ground. He starts off with AoE, 10,000 damage, decent SBA. But yeah, the main thing that really makes him good is going to be the stealth clone ability, which makes him really good for raids in some of the harder story modes. The reason for this is pretty much this ability summons a clone that has 22 million HP. Doesn't matter what level your character actually is. Clone will always have 22 million HP. Has a cooldown of 45 seconds, which pretty much if you put this on auto activate, you'll just have every 45 seconds a clone with 22 million HP. And once again, he is going to be probably the best unit for story game modes and maybe raids as well. Alright, but yeah, for the number 7 spot, we are going to have Beast Gohan. The reason why Beast Gohan is at number 7 over a lot of the other units is because if you guys are doing an armored game mode, he is going to be the best DPS unit for you guys. If you guys don't know, Beast Gohan does have the highest DPS if we are not including status effects like burn-in or anything like that. He does have the highest DPS because he has 8 placement, and every single placement has 1 million DPS without any buff. With a buff, he has roughly 4 million. Then also he has 8 placement. So with a buff, that means he has, I don't even know, a lot. He has a lot of DPS, but the one thing is he is a little bit weaker if you are doing something that does have a lot of armored units. All right, for the number 6 spot, we are going to be talking about Dialo. If you guys don't know Dialo, he is very good for a lot of day modes like Gauntlet, Infinite, anything like that. And this is the reason for that. His damage isn't really anything to be stressed about. But yeah, this is the reason right here, is this ability. So pretty much, if you guys don't know, this ability right here sets every single opponent on the map to 65% of their total HP. So pretty much if they have 100% of their HP left and you pop this ability, they will now have 65%. So yeah, for the later on day modes of Infinite or Gauntlet or anything like that, this is a very good ability. As well, it does time stop for 15 seconds, which is pretty good, and it also teleports them back 3 corners, which is pretty good as well. But yeah, that's really the only thing that he is useful for, is going to be this ability. His damage really isn't anything crazy, and he is kind of a little bit cheap with only costing 5 million. Alright, but yeah, getting into the top 5, the first one that I'll be talking about is going to be the Almighty. Now, the Almighty, just like Dialo, is good for one reason, really. His damage, once again, really isn't that good. His DPS is okay, actually. 2.5 million DPS isn't bad. But the main thing is going to be this ability right here, which buffs every single person on the map. It gives them 20% range and 300% damage, or 4x damage. And this lasts infinitely. As long as you put on auto activate, this will buff every single person on your whole map. As long as you are in the game mode, pretty much, which makes him a very good unit and very worth top 5. But yeah, these next units that I'll be talking about going into the top 4 are going to be units that are 100% needed for almost every single game mode. Starting off with Mochi. If you guys don't know, Mochi is going to be the best slower. And the reason for that, the reason why he is actually going to be better than Blackbeard, is because he can have full AoE slow. Once again, his damage isn't good at all, but he is cheap, and he does have full AoE slow. Now, if you guys don't really want to summon for him, you guys just want to stick with Blackbeard, that's 100% fine as well. Blackbeard is pretty much, you know, the same slow ability. He is cheaper, but the only difference is that he is not full AoE. The next unit for the number 3 spot is going to be Dojo. Nothing really else needs to be said here. Dojo has really good damage and a really OP ability. So first of all, his damage with a buff, 4 million, you know, it's pretty decent. He is hybrid as well, which obviously automatically makes the unit a lot better. But yeah, here are the 2 reasons why he's insanely good. So first of all, he does have, I believe, the best time stop in the game with the simple domain. And then also he has a really OP ability, which is called Final Domain Finisher, which time stops the whole map for a minute, which is very OP. Just that alone is already super worth it. But as well, it does nuke, which does 7.5 billion damage to all enemies on the map. So it's just a really OP ability, pretty much. It does have a cooldown of 8 minutes, but once again, it does last for a minute, so it really only has a cooldown of like 7 minutes. Still a very OP ability, and definitely going to be probably the best damage dealing unit in the whole game right now. And then for these next 2 spots, should be pretty obvious. We have Idol and Speedwagon. These ones are pretty self-explanatory. Speedwagon is very good because he is just going to be the best money unit in the game, almost giving 300,000 per wave. And then obviously Idol is going to be number 2 because she gives a lot of money as well. But the main reason why she is OP is because she does give a damage buff of 250% plus the money, which is very good. Now, you can replace her for Brooke if you don't have Idol, because I know she barely comes to the shop. You can replace her for Brooke, which does give the buff as well. But instead of giving money, it does give a range buff, which is obviously going to be a lot worse. So I just recommend getting Idol. Once again, if you just wanted a damage buff, you could just use Almighty instead of Brooke. But yeah, that is pretty much going to be the top 10 units in the game currently. So to go over it real fast, number 10 is going to be Guts for his full AoE damage. Number 9 is going to be Tanjiro for his leader skills and early on placements. He is just overall really good. And he does start off as full AoE. Number 8 is going to go to Cooler because he is very good for shorter game modes like Raids and Story. And then number 7 is going to go to Beast Gohan because if you are doing against an armored opponent, Beast Gohan is going to be the best bet for you because he does have the highest base DPS in the game, not including status effects like Burn or anything like that. Then we have Dialo at number 6 because his ability is super overpowered. Same for the Almighty. Mochi and Blackbeard are here because they're just the best slow units. I recommend going for Mochi because obviously full AoE slow is going to be a lot better. But yeah, both are very good. You need a slow on your team, so I would recommend getting either one of those. Number 3, which goes to the best overall DPS unit in the game, is going to be Dojo. Now, his DPS might not be the best, but his abilities very well make up for it with having the best time stop and a very OP ability that nukes and time stops for a minute. Then these two once again are just really used for money, and then idols used for buffing and money. But yeah guys, in my opinion, those are going to be the top 10 units currently out in All-Star Tower Defense. I will have an updated video on this next week when they do actually update, because if you guys don't know, they are updating and getting rid of this current star pass and replacing it with a new one. So yeah, if you guys are hyped for that video, let me know down in the comments, as well as join my Discord, because I will be giving away a star pass when the new star pass does come out. So if you're interested in that, just join my Discord. But yeah, let me know down your thoughts on the units that I did pick, what you guys would personally pick, or if you just completely agreed with it, just let me know down in the comments. But yeah, once again, that was the top 10 units in All-Star Tower Defense. If you guys enjoyed the video, like, subscribe. My current goal is 10,000 subscribers. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.